Jana, how problematic is it for the smaller banks?
It is certainly a challenge, and that has to do with the fact that if you look at Italy specifically, that Italian banks currently have less money deposited, less cash deposited at the ECB than they have to repay at the end of the month, and that tells you that something needs to be fixed, and that's what the attention is on at the moment. So that is a problem for Italy. In Greece, we have about the same amount of cash deposited as is due for repayment. Of course, that's only aggregate figures, so you don't know what's hiding underneath which institutions, which banks might have a challenge there. But let me also say that it's certainly something that's fixable, right? Banks have many options to raise that money, that funding that's necessary. Not least because there is still a lot of excess liquidity out there. So we're looking at about 4 trillion of excess cash sloshing around the financial system at this point in time. Repayments are just under $500 billion. So certainly a challenge, but at least what we heard from the ECB so far, they're looking at this obviously, but we haven't seen any indication that the ECB sees any need to step in and offer additional operations, to offer longer-term facilities, replacing some of that cash. So there is, they're looking at this, and from what we hear, there is no greater sense of alarm at this point in time. And obviously, we're going to hear from the president later this week, on Thursday, tomorrow, actually. So that's definitely something she has to answer. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say very quickly, we're running a little bit out of time, but what's the worst case scenario right now?
Well, the worst case scenario is that banks struggle, that banks will need to return to the ECB's standing facilities. They have weekly and 3 months operations on offer at all times. And of course, if you are as a bank forced to tap those, money is available there, so it's not a problem of getting it. But it could be a stigma that some, there will be some finger pointing if banks cannot secure funds in the repo market, for example. But at this point in time, we're hopeful that everything will go right.